Now, let's talk about American Werewolf in London.
Let's do it.
Before we begin talking about the movie itself, my history with this movie goes back long before I ever saw it. And I think this is a pretty common experience for horror kids of a certain age.
Okay.
When we used to go to the video store, I used to go directly to the horror aisle.
Right.
And just stare at the VHS covers for all the different horror movies.
Uh-huh.
And there are some that stick out in my mind to this day. I would say Slumber Party Massacre.
Okay.
Which was like it was like a drawing of these like buxom women looking scared and looking up. But they're looking up and your point of view is like you're between a gentleman's legs.
Oh.
Who is holding a drill.
Oh.
So you know.
My, oh my.
Something's about to go down. Now, At the time, I didn't get the subtle sexual reference.
Right.
And the man holding the drill with these terrified women in front of him. But I was really intrigued by what was going on in that picture. But werewolves especially grabbed my attention because there was one movie that was king above all else. And it was an American Werewolf, which I'll get to in a second.
Right. What was it?
It was a movie called The Company of Wolves.
Oh, I've never heard of that one.
Well, the cover, which of course I'll post a picture of on spookyassshit.com. The cover is like Little Red Riding Hood. It's a drawing, but it's a very realistic drawing. She's walking and she's under a full moon and she's looking over her shoulder at a gentleman who is presumably a werewolf.
Mm.
He is transforming into a wolf, but not in the normal way where the hair like sprouts out through the human face. The wolf's snout is protruding. The wolf's snout is protruding from the gentleman's mouth.
You know what? I saw that when I was doing research today.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right. I know. That is striking.
Yeah. And it kind of looks like Steven Tyler. The guy kind of looks like Steven Tyler.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
From Aerosmith.
Yeah. But it is striking because like you said, the snout is just coming. It's poking right out.
Yeah. And as a kid, I was like, that is the coolest fucking thing.
Yeah. So it's like the
I have ever
werewolf.
seen.
The werewolf's wearing a human suit.
He sheds his human
Skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I never rented that movie when I was a child. Obviously, my mom wouldn't let me rent it. But actually, I did rent it when I was older, and it completely did not hold my interest.
It didn't live up to
because it wasn't really a horror movie. It was more like a fantasy movie, I guess I'd say.
Yeah.
With some like horror elements and stuff, but
what a letdown.
Yeah. And there were like things that happened in the movie, and there were some cool things, but
I hate when movies are letdowns.
Well, I'll tell you a movie that was not a letdown for me.
What was that?
American Werewolf in London.
Oh, I saw what you did there.
Now, that's another VHS that I used to stare at, but in a different way. It didn't get as much attention.
Mm-hmm.
But what the VHS was basically a torso-up shot of two young men backpacking. And they're just looking over their shoulder, but they look slightly afraid. Not horrified, but just nervous, like you can tell something bad might be about to happen, or they're suspicious of something. And it's like a foggy night, and they're under the full moon. That's the entire cover.
Right.
But as a little kid, I could read their facial expression, and I would say, what are they scared of? What's going to happen?
And isn't that what a cover is supposed to do?
Right. That's exactly right. And so it wasn't the scariest cover. It wasn't a big splashy cover. It didn't have a monster on it or anything, but it was in the horror section, and it's these two men looking over their shoulder. To me, as a child, that was even creepier, really.
Of course.
Because you don't know what the problem is.
Yeah, and I mean, the most horrifying thing as a child is their imagination.
Well, when they did the DVD release of the movie, they didn't go with that design. They went with...
the werewolf.
Yeah, and actually, it's not even the full werewolf. This is one of the change-o heads that you see pictured.
Yeah.
with the skyline of England, with the skyline of London
Just
in the
subtly
background.
in the back, yeah.
Yeah. And I really don't like it.
No, it really doesn't do the movie justice. I think, we were talking, the first one was great because it invites you into the story. It really gets your imagination going. With this, it's just like, all right, it's about a werewolf, and it's about a poorly made up werewolf.
Yeah,
'Cause the werewolf doesn't even look good.
Because he's supposed to be in the middle of changing.
Yeah.
And like we said, it's I believe that this isn't David Naughton. This is one of the Change-O heads.
Yeah.
So, and it's like a close-up of basically just the mouth. The eyes are closed. I don't know. And then the like little quote that they have on it is dynamic direction and script. Well, yeah.
It's lame.
But you can find better quotes
it's a lame cover.
about the movie. I'm happy to say that for the Blu-ray
Blu-ray
release,
they went back to the original.
well, sort of. It's a different image of the two, but they're still looking off camera at something that you don't know what it is. And now they've included
There's more London.
They've included the London background, which I think actually takes away from it. I still prefer the VHS cover. It was so simple, so effective.
Yes.
We don't need Big Ben. You don't actually see Big Ben in the movie at all.
You don't.
They're in Trafalgar Square, so if they had turned the camera around, they would have seen Big Ben. But, no, I like it better with... Oh, you know what I didn't notice? On the Blu-ray? There's a wolf face in the moon. I don't like that.
Oh, there is.
It's real subtle.
It is, yeah, I see, yeah.
Yeah. I don't care for that. Because now it sort of looks like David Naughton's looking up at the moon. Yeah, I don't care for that. All right, so never mind. The original VHS is still...
It's number 1.
The best cover. All right.